We've heard a couple presentations today about collaboration and the process of coming together and working together. And one of the things we've developed within SPOG is a process that really outlines the steps of how we go about that. It is not a new process for SPOG. It was originally under our new development committee. We have relabeled and rebranded this as our proactive engagement because we don't want it to be limited to the assumption that it's just new activity. So with that, what is PEP? It bridges the distance between regulation and expectations so that community and industry can work together as neighbors. Most concerns develop early in the communication process, so we do know that if we can start that dialogue early, we have an idea of being able to identify what some of the deep-root concerns are. It is hidden but big cost to industry in time, dollars, respect, and future relationships. And we can have discussion after discussion of the adage that you have to go slow to go fast. And a lot of companies think that, you know, by investing that time and that effort is a big cost, but actually by not investing that time and effort is a much greater cost to industry. What it is not, all of the things that we come together to work through in our issues is usually above and beyond what existing regulation is. It is not a big love-in. We're here to talk about all the tough issues, so it's not just about the easy or the low-hanging fruit. And it's not mandatory. Synergy is not a mandatory process, and we cannot force people at the table. When to use PEP? So the spirit of the proactive engagement process is that community members should be informed about oil field activities that impact them, or they can see, smell, or hear. So within our community, it's very important that people feel that if they can see something, smell something, or hear something, there is a real and true impact to them. The 3 tiers of the proactive engagement process is, we've defined it as routine business, so day-to-day operations where there's no notification required. Non-routine business, so new activity levels where someone can see, hear, or smell. Identify the residents that may be impacted and contact them with the details of the work. Notification within our SPOG website and through our distribution lists. We meet once a month at our community affairs meeting to discuss what levels of activity industry is going to have within this community. We take it to another level if we've got a large project starting, or if we know there's an issue within the community that is really bringing forth a lot of concerns. We do that as a greater project level. We can present this at the community affairs meeting, possibly have an open house, or we engage in our proactive engagement process. So the process is a 7-step process, and we'll go through this very quickly. Step 1 is an overview of the project. So what are we here to identify, and what are the issues? The next step is probably one of the most important steps. It is to gather all of our stakeholders together and identify what the issues are and use the most important tool of listening. This second step is probably the most important because this is not about problem solving. This is listening to make sure that we understand what the concerns really truly are. From there, we try and identify what the biggest priorities are within those concerns. So there's several different type of processes we use. We can identify through labels, but identifying which is our biggest issues that we need to start to work on and start prioritizing and grouping themes together. The next part is very important, that we bring together through each theme or each concern and issue education on that theme. And education could mean technical education, it could be community education, local knowledge. Step 5 is now where we get a chance to sit down together and we bring together our flip charts and we collaborate and we write down all of the possible potential ideas, solutions, and we do massive brainstorming. From there, from that step 5, that's where the collaboration comes in with our process, and that's where we come together with solutions. Step 6 is really a gathering of all of the collaborative efforts we have with relation to that issue and formalizing and putting in a document. And step 7 is an audit process whereby we can check back to find out how we've done. So I'm going to run through these steps here very, very quickly. The overview is pretty self-explanatory. It's really to get in there and identify what the biggest concerns are. The issues identification, this is very, very important. The key to this step is listening. We're not there to problem solve in this step. We're there to listen. Step 3, again, as we talk about priority, we do have to have some mechanism of being able to get through all of the issues that we've identified and do it in a fashion that we can create solutions. Step 4, education. So as we talked about a little bit earlier, the regulator of that topic will review and provide to everybody what the clear minimum requirements. So it could be, the regulator could represent several different parties. The regulator could be some of the municipalities, could be the ERCB, could be Alberta Environment, could be numerous different groups. From there, we usually try and engage experts to bring a technical overview and provide all the technical details. We try to make sure that everything is presented in layman's terms so that everybody is communicating on the same playing field. What we find is education is a two-way street. Education has to flow both ways for it to be communication, and that the community has a lot of local knowledge to provide education. So step 5 with the collaboration. So once there's an understanding of the concerns, regulations, and technical information, this is where we actually get a chance to really work the magic with the collaboration and sit down. We use a consensus type basis where it's a substantial agreement. And in most cases, what we find every time, getting to that point is probably once there's an understanding of all the issues, the education, this is probably some of the easiest. It's accomplished through brainstorming, listening, dialogue, and discussion. It is very, very important that once we get to this step, that the decision makers are in the room. So it is wonderful to have a wide representative of stakeholders, but the people that are there actually making decisions on behalf of those stakeholders must be at that table. Step 6, with performance measures. So specific mitigations, most of what we're collaborating on go above and beyond the minimum requirements, and they're to address the community uniqueness, safety, and quality of life. Once we gather all of our collaborative steps and processes, it'll be tested, revised, and improved through a practical experience. So we need to get out there and we need to test drive it. We need to find out whether it's working or not. Again, this is not regulation. However, best efforts to meet the measures within the limits available of technology. So we do know that a lot of this process goes above and beyond what the existing requirements are. And the PEP, so once we've created all this collaborative efforts and solutions to some of these issues, how do we get it out there? So it's very important that not only we do the work, but we have to make sure we share it, not only amongst the group that created these solutions, but within the greater community. And step 7, the audit process. So when the work is complete and followed up with the industry regarding the learnings and experience in following the performance measures. So with this, we've had a chance to get out there and we've had a chance to test drive this. So is it working for us? We find in most cases that we've created existing best practices that go above and beyond the industry requirements, that we're going too far above or we're missing the mark here. So it's very important to have the audit process within that. And that is what SPOG has developed, and anybody has any questions, please feel free to come and see me. And thank you very much for your time.